Let's get your take on today's talking point, which I believe most Nigerians, if not every Nigerian who is an adult, will have an opinion about. And we're talking about public trust. And that confidence seems to be waning over the years, especially regarding the policies and programs of government, where Nigerians over time have felt that the government is not being 100% honest or transparent regarding some of these developments that we're seeing today. Case in point, the current implementation of the subsidy removal across the country since the inception of the Tinubu administration, in fact, on day one. Recently, the former governor of Kaduna State, during an interactive session at a public seminar, says that the current administration, despite pronouncing that it has removed subsidy, is even actually paying more than what the Buhari administration paid as far as the subsidy regime is concerned. So the simple question we're asking you is if you think you can trust what the government is saying about all of these programs, policies, and reforms that it is currently undertaken. Give us your take on this. We would love to have your view regarding public trust and whether or not the federal, state governments are being honest about the situation that we're currently faced with, whether it's with the economy, whether it's with security, whether it's with reforms, and every other thing else that is a part of this governance component that we've had to deal with, especially in the current Fourth Republic that we have right now. And I think there's no gainsaying the fact that the answer would be, no, because the government is not being as honest or as transparent as it needs to be on some of these issues, particularly with this issue of subsidy removal, for instance.
You can
is
say
it gone? Is it not gone? The president said it is gone, but we also understand that it is not gone. Then,
the president minister said he can come and go.
Yeah.
And he doesn't change the fact that it is gone.
However
you interpret what she says. And it basically speaks to it. You must understand that you are not leading a gullible people. You came from
people can put two and two together.
You came from within the people, and the system that produced you, however you think of yourself, produced tens of thousands of other people who've got the same cognitive ability as you do. So you've got to be straightforward. You've got to be, integrity must be your watchword. And we saw that right from the word go. This government had failed to tell us, for instance, how much it inherited from the previous government.
Yeah.
Whether it is
assets and liabilities.
Or liability. And that would have allowed people to say, okay, this was how bad things were. And this is where we need to go. And that is how to begin to build public trust. I understand we have our first caller this morning. Good morning. Your name and where you're calling from.
Mr. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Your name and where you're calling from, please.
This is Ibrahim calling from Yola.
Thank you very much, sir. Please go ahead.
Well, the issue of our public trust is this. We as a people don't even like the truth. And whenever you tell your friend or your people the truth, they seem to think that you are lying. And until all of us agree that we have to accept truth and build on that truth forward, nothing will happen. Because the issue is this. We don't want to pay for fuel, and the government doesn't want to tell us they are paying for fuel. And certainly, if that subsidy is not paid, there's nothing that we, the people, cannot even afford the fuel at the price that we are buying from, we're importing. And the issue is this: those who are supposed to even check and oversee the government, the National Assembly, they're not even doing anything about it. The president now seems to have a free right. Whatever he wants is done. So it's going to be difficult. It's going to be highly, very difficult for anybody, even in the next 20 years, my brother, for anybody to come and say that he's going to be able to build public trust in Nigeria. Nobody believes in anybody. Nobody accepts anything anybody says. No matter how good you are. Nobody. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for that apt contribution. And I must, say that, there is, a certain degree where you nod your head and say, listen, I think Nigerians are not necessarily victims in this. We are also complicit, in the conversation, because also sometimes when the government is being bluntly truthful about it, we don't want to accept it. We believe that, there's something else that they could do about it.
Even in the most developed climes, there is always the mutual suspicion.
Yeah, exactly. Let's speak to our next caller. Hello, good morning. Okay, try again, try calling back. I would love to get your take on this one. Public trust in government, we've seen a steady decline over the past few decades, and how Nigerians mistrust whatever it is that the government is doing or whatever it is that the government is saying. Is that warranted? And of course, is there a chance that we also might not be ready for the truth, as stated by our first caller?
Yeah, but
on this one?
the dilemma then would be, should you, because of the way Nigerians will react, decide to
lie to
not
them?
say the whole truth?
Yeah.
You know, because that's what we get are basically half truths, as the case may be. Good morning. Your name and where you calling from?
Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. All right, you have two options on your screen there. If you try one number and it's perhaps giving you some network challenges, try the other one so we can have, your take on this one. Hello, good morning, and welcome to Daybreak Interactive. Your name, please, and where you're calling from.
Hello, good morning. My name is Abubakar Bello Rene.
Abubakar Bello, where are you calling from, please?
I'm calling from the South State.
Go ahead, Mr. Abubakar. Go ahead.
Caption caught my attention, this public trust in government.
Yeah.
And I have this to say that actually in Nigeria, the citizens have no confidence in government, and as such, anything government policy, people don't trust it. Because the system here in the country is not working. Nothing is working. Whatever government says, you view it with suspicion.
Hello, Bakar, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still there.
Yeah, go ahead.
So the question really is, how can we begin to push back from where we are today and begin to build the trust, that is really needed to galvanize people in a particular way? Because whatever the situation, we need to pull behind something, regardless of who is driving the idea.
The onus lies on government to start doing the necessity, trying to build the building of confidence depends on what the government does to the people. The people should be sincere in whatever the people. I can cite you an example now. For example, the recent policy on power and power distribution,
palliatives. Yeah.
You look at it, the light is not even there. And you are asking people to pay for darkness. So what kind of government is this?
Yeah, I think the behavior of the government, not just this one, but past administrations, leaves much to be desired. There's so many gaps there where Nigerians don't feel like we are on the same page with the government on most issues. But we understand where you're coming from. Bakar, thank you so much for joining the conversation. Really appreciate you for chiming in.
Yes,
feel free to be a part of the conversation if you have anything to add to this one, suggestions, recommendations about how we can rebuild public trust, because you get a sense that Nigerians are on this side and the government is on that side, and we're, the gap is quite obvious, because every time the government comes out rolling one new policy or program, the pushback is quite, obvious. And, more often than not, people feel like the government is, not telling them, not being honest about the situation. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning.
Morning, how are you?
Fine, thank you. Thank you for joining us on the program. What's your name, please, and where are you calling from?
Isaac Abdullah from Jos Plateau.
Oh, okay.
Abdullah
from Plateau. Go ahead.
Yes. I just joined the program lately, but I was able to understand what we are talking about, discussing about.
Yeah.
What is affecting this country most is the issue of embezzlement and misappropriateness of the public fund. Yes. If we are going to emulate some countries like China, I think Nigeria will become one of the most advanced countries in the world. Yes. Yes. Nobody should touch public fund without government license.
All right, Ibrahim.
The rules of engagement is you turn down the volume of your TV set. If you're waiting to hear yourself on the TV, it's not going to allow for a smooth conversation. And I'm afraid we're going to have to move on to the next caller because, it's quite a very easy thing to understand. So we can have a meaningful engagement. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
I'm calling from Anambra State.
Sorry, you're going to have to come again. We didn't get that. Your name again?
Like calling from Anambra State.
Oh my.
Okay, I'm afraid I think the connection is bad, so you might have to try again. Apologies for that. You might have to try again. The clarity is not there, and I'm afraid we might not be able to hear you rather clearly. So maybe try again, and let's have your take on this one. Abdullah's point from Plateau State about corruption, for instance. When the government say there's no money and then all of a sudden in the news, someone is stealing or allegedly stealing 80 billion naira, someone is stealing 200 billion, trillions of naira is missing.
And the National Assembly is possessing vehicles worth over 100 billion.
Yeah, so,
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Your name and where you're calling from?
This is Adegbenro Ibrahim speaking from Lagos.
Adeboye, you said?
Adegbenro Ibrahim.
Adegbenro Ibrahim, good morning. Let us have your thoughts, please.
Good morning. Yeah. My own contribution this morning about public trust in government is that we don't need to disturb ourselves. I've said this some time ago when they were talking about restructuring this country. And this is what I said. And I said, there's nothing to be restructured in this nation. There's only one thing we need to be that needs to be restructured, which is our mindset. Our mindset, that is what needs to be restructured in this country. Because everything is intact. The government are doing their best. I'm not saying the system is good, and they are trying their best. But we, the public, are even more people that is contributing back worth to the country. We are talking about inflation on everything now, which people are saying it's all about the dollars issue. The dollars is coming down now. Go to the market now. What they say is we are buying about a rate of 5,000 naira when they say the dollar is rising. Now the dollar is coming down. Nothing is changed. Is that the government? When people are going on the street or on the road, they fail to follow the process of the road, what do they call it, traffic rules. Is that the government? Many things have been damaged by the public, and we are trying to divert it on the government alone. The government alone cannot do this. The government is not the only person that is in the country. They will only do the policy, transfer the policy to the public. It's left to the public to follow the rules and the regulations. Let's do our part and leave the government. When the government sees that we are doing our part, everything will be okay. But for even you, the journalists, are not helping matters sometimes. I'm sorry to say this. I'm sorry to say this. Because sometimes when things are rising, when things are wrong from the government, but journalists are the one that will be making hammering about it. And when the public has been doing wrong things, you will not see journalists speaking much about it, rather than the government's own. Governments are not the only one in the country.
Right.
Governments are doing their part through the policies, and we have to follow the system if we want everything to be okay. I'm not saying they are not wrong, but I'm speaking from my own mind that what we all need to be restructured is our mindset. Let's change our mindset. Let's keep it in mind. Let's have it in mind that this country is going to be great, and definitely if we do the needful from the government, from our own part.
Yeah. Mr. Ade Ibrahim, thank you so much for calling in all the way from Lagos. I appreciate you for joining the conversation. Just to point out, I don't disagree with him on the fact that the followership needs to change, that there's a significant gap in our thinking, in our orientation, and how we do things in this country. However, the spotlight is on the government, the one that has all the resources to change the trajectory of our Commonwealth, the one that has the power of coercion right, to address all of these gaps? You mean you're talking about the pricing issue, the price gouging that we're seeing? The government does have the power, the instrumentality of government to enforce fair pricing in our markets, right? It's not the people. You are just a customer. You're not going to force anybody's hand to sell, you a pack of spaghetti at, XYZ amount. The government can say that we know the prices of these things. You're overcharging on these things, and we're going to sanction you. The ordinary citizens can't do that. But of course, your point still stands as quite a germane one. But however, we're focusing more on how the government itself has, created this room for this trust deficit that we're seeing because of a perceived lack of transparency about some of the issues, whether it's funds missing from one agency to the other, and so on and so forth, and how Nigerians over time have come to distrust or mistrust their government because they feel like they're not being totally honest about some of these things. Case in point, the removal of subsidy. On inauguration day, the president said subsidy is gone, and we've seen it happen almost instantly. However, we've come to learn that they're somehow still paying subsidy. So, the question is, how can we be, trusting a government that says one thing but does something entirely different altogether?
Like you said, some of the things that need to be acknowledged in Adegbenro's contribution also is the fact that, he pointed accusing fingers at us, and rightly so. We seem to be focused.
I think we've not, we've not been, doing our bit quite significantly.
We have paid way too much attention to one side of the divide to the detriment of the other, and that's absolutely correct. Partly because they say he who pays the piper dictates the tune, but we all share in this blame, and that's the point you made, and that is quite taken. Good morning. Your name and where you're calling from?
Hello, good morning. My name is Mohamed Abdullahi. I'm calling from Adamawa State.
Good morning, Mr. Abdullahi from Adamawa.
Abdullah Hassan, good morning. Compliment of the season.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Right.
I appreciate your topic this morning, and I think it's something that it's worrying all of us as a nation, because you find out that during the elections they will come and promise you heaven and earth. But immediately after the elections, you call their numbers, it's not very reachable, you call their numbers, they're not picking your numbers. So honestly, it's something that we hope and pray that the politicians will change their mindset. And then I think the media, the religious leaders have a very good role to play, because we need to be reminding them that after this world, there's another world, you understand? That there's a hereafter, you understand? Because most of our leaders forgot that there's a hereafter. Because I didn't remember there's a hereafter. Honestly, all these public trusts, all these things, the politicians will be doing the right thing. Because all what we need is not just much. Just give us the water, give us the security, make sure that all what you promise us in terms of public school, it's not much. You can do whatever you want to do. But you find that all these basic amenities are not there. They don't care. They don't, because they feel all the time they send their children abroad. So it's unfortunate, honestly. It's unfortunate. And I really want to commend you people for doing a wonderful job. Sensitizing Nigerians, giving us the opportunity to air our minds. Mercy, we really appreciate. May God continue to bless your station and then to take you to a greater heights.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mohammed. Appreciate the call, and thank you for the compliments.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
What you said...
That's really, just bullseye, isn't it?
That is it.
Nigerians are not really asking for too much.
So much, absolutely.
The bare minimum.
And when you say things about reminding our leaders about the afterlife, every time it makes it look like we reduce conversations to religion, but that's more than makes the point. Because, we hear people often say that you make heaven from earth. It's not when you die. It's
good morning. My name is Alban.
Your name again, sorry?
My name is Alban Femi.
Right. Where are you calling from?
Mr. Femi.
Femi is my name. I'm calling from Lagos.
Good to hear from you, Mr. Femi, this morning. How is Lagos this morning?
Yeah, good
and
morning.
What is your take?
Good morning, everybody in the studio.
Good morning to you.
What did you say?
Yeah, I said
how is Lagos
this morning?
With the heat and all.
Yeah.
There is no problem.
Right.
No problem. I
Go
want
ahead,
to have a take on what is on board.
Yes, please go ahead.
public trust.
That's right.
Let me tell you, from the inception, this thing, we are all historians. It starts from the pre-colonial era. When the white man wanted to leave Nigeria, the white man didn't trust the three major ethnic groups in Nigeria that make up Nigeria. The Hausas or the Fulanis, the Yorubas and the Igbos. What the white man did was to distrust the Igbo man and the Yoruba man, and they handed over power to the northern side. And since that time, things has never been well. Each successive administration comes and goes, leaving the promises too poor. Let me come. A situation where an electoral body conducted an election, and instead of them to give us what the people or the man or the candidate the masses voted for, they played pranks. They brought a different individual. It happens in the local government, it happens at the state level, and at the federal level. Let me tell you, this lack of trust, it is everywhere. It is like a very negative cankerworm that has eaten deep into all the fabrics of our existence, politically, socially, economically, and religiously. Look at what is happening in our religious organizations today. Look at a government parastatal will just wake up to tell Nigerians that a python has swallowed billions of naira. My brother, this type of things is only happening in Nigeria. A situation, somebody will siphon, will loot over billions, and that person, within a short period of time, you see such a man or such a woman that we entrusted our wealth into his or her hand, siphoning everything. By the time you know what is happening, this man or this woman has been forgiven because that person belongs to maybe the ruling political party. Look at the type of prostitution our political elites are playing in Nigeria. When PDP is in power, every other politician in APC, SDP, and PDP, they will just move over. These things are lack of trust. Look at, during the inaugural speech of the present administration, we were told that petroleum subsidy has been removed. And you are in the studio. You heard what Madam El Rufai said a few days ago, that this present administration is paying more than what the previous administrations used to pay concerning
subsidy.
Petroleum subsidy. My brother, have you seen that we have lost confidence in everybody? Now look at the people in the market, the sellers, the importers, the exporters, even the wholesalers and the retailers. You see what is happening. Every day we are rejoicing, we are jubilating that dollar is coming down. Some people will assume that it is $1, 1,000. Now go to the market and buy gari. Go to the market and buy rice. Go to the market and buy anything. You see that we, all of us, we are the architects of our misfortune.
Right.
And until we change our mindset, until we begin to think there is life after death, let me tell you, the reason why the politicians, they behave so radically is that most of them doesn't know that politicians, they do die. They have never make up one time to visit the mortuary, to see that in the mortuary, both big and dumb, both old and young, both politicians, both PhD holders, both political elites, when they are sent to the mortuary, nobody makes call in the mortuary. Nobody spends money in the mortuary. If all of us will be be opportune from one time to the other. We visit the mortuary to see that all this wealth we are grabbing,
Right.
one person will steal
Right.
over 20 billion, over 30 billion, and the other people are here crying.
Yeah,
Thank you, Mr. Femi.
I think we can go on and on about it, but I think you've made your point rather succinctly and to the point, and I believe that most Nigerians are just nodding along in agreement with all of these, particular points, which is that public trust has been broken and is going to take some doing at the followership level and at the leadership level for us to really fix that. But also, what we're seeing right now does not suggest that we are in any way, shape or form trying to rebuild that trust, because there is still so much secrecy around what is being done at the governmental level, and there's also a level of acceptance at the followership level about what is going on in this country. All right, that's it for our interactive session. Thank you most kindly for all those who called in to make their contributions, and for all those who tried unsuccessfully to join the conversation. We'll give you another opportunity next time around. We're going to take